Fans were chanting, "Sophie, Sophie."
They weren't just cheering, they were roaring, "Sophie, Sophie," thundered across the arena as if it had been building all season long. It wasn't planned, it wasn't prompted, it was primal release of frustration, pride, and something deeper, because for weeks, fans had watched Caitlin Clark get shoved, elbowed, and knocked to the floor. They'd seen her body hit hardwood over and over again while referees looked the other way. They'd seen teammates hesitate, coaches bite, their tongues, and the league silent, until Sophie Cunningham decided enough was enough. It started with another one of those moments. Clark took a swipe to the face from JC Sheldon, then was body checked by Marina Mabrey moments later. There was no whistle, no ejection, no reel.
And here's we got another. Teams are going to have to think twice about messing with Caitlin Clark again.
Consequence, just Caitlin once again picking herself up alone. But this time, it didn't end with her walking away. It ended with Sophie stepping in, a hard foul, timed perfectly. A message sent not just to one team, but to every team, to every official, and to every player in the league who thought they could bully Caitlin without consequence. In that instant, Sophie Cunningham didn't just commit a foul, she redefined her entire career. She became something else entirely: the bodyguard, the enforcer, the one who did what the refs wouldn't and what fans had been screaming for: stand up, be counted, and protect the most valuable player in the WNBA. And what happened next wasn't subtle. It exploded. Within hours, Sophie's name was everywhere. Viral clips swept TikTok, ESPN notifications pinged phones, and YouTube creators scrambled to cut videos of the foul. NBA pages were sharing her clip. Jersey sales went through the roof. And Sophie didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The action had already spoken. She wasn't trying to be a villain or a hero. She was doing what needed to be done, and fans instantly knew it. In that moment, the Indiana Fever didn't just have a young superstar, they had a wall. Let's talk about what made that moment matter. Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player. She's the sun the WNBA currently revolves around. She drives viewership, she moves merchandise, she packs arenas. But week after week, she's been on the wrong end of cheap shots and shrug-off hits. The WNBA has a code of silence around protecting her. On paper, she's the future of the league. In practice, she's treated like a target. And that contradiction hasn't gone unnoticed. Her fans, massive and vocal, have been calling it out. But it took Sophie's foul to finally make the league pay attention. The timing was perfect. Cunningham wasn't just stepping in during any game. This was the game where frustration boiled over, where Clark had taken a face swipe, a body check, and a complete lack of support from the whistle. The crowd could feel the injustice. The audience could see the imbalance. And then came Sophie, cool, focused, and fearless. The message was clear. You want to push around Caitlin Clark? You'll have to go through me first. What followed was more than fanfare. Sophie gained nearly 600,000 TikTok followers. Her jersey sold out. Instagram pages posted her photo with captions like "The enforcer has arrived." It was no longer just about Clark. It was about those who stood beside her. And in the new media age, where narrative shapes legacy as much as talent, Sophie had just stepped into the spotlight. The hypocrisy came fast too. Some voices on social media started.
Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom!
Wow.
Petitions to ban her. Yes, really ban her. They called her actions violent, dangerous, out of line. These were the same people who had cheered when she was fouled hard in a preseason game. The same people who mocked her when she was knocked to the ground by Kiki Fenn. But when she stood up and gave it back, suddenly she was a problem. This wasn't outrage, it was fear disguised as indignation. And how did Sophie respond? Not with an apology, not with a quote, just a retweet of her sold-out jersey. That was it. No need for drama, no press conference. Just a simple post that said it all. People aren't just watching, they're buying in. And in professional sports, that speaks louder than any highlight reel. Let's go deeper. The WNBA has never had a moment like this. For decades, it struggled with visibility, fan support, and financial viability. Then came Clark, a once-in-a-generation player with charisma, range, swagger, and the numbers to back it all up. Her college games broke records. Her transition to the league brought in millions of new fans. Yet instead of protecting their star, the league let the target on her back grow larger with every game.
When they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. all season long. It's not just this game. It's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs.
No technicals, no suspensions, just more bruises. That's why Sophie's moment landed so hard, because it wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. She said what the league refused to. Clark deserves protection, and the fans, already sick of the excuses, rallied behind it. Sophie wasn't just a body on the court anymore. She became the narrative's pivot point. Her skill set helps too. She's not just some enforcer without game. She's played key roles on competitive teams. She's hit big shots. She's held her own in high-pressure moments. And off the court, she's a natural communicator. During her Phoenix days, she worked as a broadcaster for the Suns. She knows how to navigate media storms, how to give sound bites, how to connect with fans without sounding robotic. She's sharp, charismatic, and totally unafraid to be herself. That's why brands are circling. That's why agents are dialing. In a league starved for personality and power, Sophie Cunningham has both. She's not asking for fame. She earned it, and she's going to capitalize mark those words. With the Caitlin Clark fan base at her back, there's no ceiling on where this goes. Endorsements, speaking opportunities.
And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
National coverage. It's already happening, but the real story here is bigger than Sophie. It's about a changing culture.
Wild, folks. There's the eye gouge. Watch Mabrey. Boom. I mean, come on.
About a fan base that's saying, you can't ignore us anymore. Caitlin Clark's impact isn't just about viewership, it's about reshaping how stars are treated. And if the league doesn't adapt, those same fans might take their loyalty elsewhere. Already, we've seen them support teammates like Kate Martin, who sold more jerseys than reigning MVPs simply because she played with Caitlin in college. That's the power of alignment, of loyalty. So when Sophie stepped in, she wasn't just defending Clark, she was earning trust, earning respect, and now she's being rewarded for it. It wasn't luck, it wasn't a stunt, it was a moment that resonated because it was real, raw, unfiltered, the kind of moment that redefines roles and launches legacies.
It made me think if this was LeBron in the NBA, think if this was Steph Curry in the NBA, do you really think that the NBA would be allowing certain players in the NBA to go after LeBron the way that Caitlin was chucked to the ground? Do you think if another player came up, blindsided LeBron, chucked him to the ground after he had just been poked in the eye, that the NBA would be like, oh yeah, technicals, nobody's ejected, just a common technical foul? That would never happen. It would never happen.
So what happens next? Simple. Sophie's going to make money. She's going to gain influence. She's going to become one of the faces of the Fever, whether she scores 20 points or 2, because fans love her, because Clark trusts her, because she proved when the moment
Caitlin Clark's good for about 1 million extra viewers.
came, she didn't flinch, and the league, they're at a crossroads. They can either embrace this energy, protect their stars, and build a culture that rewards toughness and loyalty, or they can keep watching their most valuable asset get knocked down while the fans turn bitter. This moment with Sophie isn't just a viral clip, it's a warning shot. It's the league's last chance to get it right. And if they don't, well, Sophie and the fans already have other plans. If you're still here, drop a basketball in the comments. Show love to Sophie. Subscribe for more real-time breakdowns of the stories the league can't ignore. Because this story, it's just getting started, but the seeds of this moment were planted long before the opening tip of that game. Let's rewind the tape. Back to Clark's arrival in the league. Back to her first professional minutes. It wasn't just the physicality. It was the intent, the sneers, the refusal to dap her up, the cold shoulders during intros, the veterans who claimed they didn't know who she was even after she outdrew their entire season with one March Madness run. You could see it on the court, you could hear it in the locker room soundbites. Caitlin Clark wasn't just being challenged, she was being targeted, not for her attitude, not for her play, but for her popularity. And when the league didn't check it, its noble Clark fans, rabid and growing by the day, turned social media into a courtroom. Every missed call was a headline. Every shove was slowed down, zoomed in, and debated for days. The WNBA had Never seen anything like it, and for better or worse, they weren't ready. League officials insisted things were under control, but the product on the floor told another story. It told a story of a superstar isolated in the spotlight, praised by fans, but poked by opponents, and maybe, just maybe, Sophie Cunningham saw herself in that. Maybe she remembered the years she was painted as a heel. The technicals, the image, the label of being dirty when all she really was tough. Maybe she looked at Caitlyn and saw what happens when you rise to fast and they tried to pull you back down. Maybe she just had enough. Whatever it was, she didn't ask for permission, she acted. And in doing so, she gave Clark something no stat line can measure: peace of mind. The next time someone considers shoving Caitlyn Clark to the ground, they'll think twice, because Sophie is there, and the league knows it, and the fans know it. And more importantly, Caitlyn knows it. And in professional sports, when the fans are this loud, when the clips are this viral, when the players are this aligned, change doesn't just happen. It becomes unstoppable. So let the critics whine. Let the petitions fly. Let the hot takes roll in. Sophie's not listening, she's winning. And in doing so, she just might have saved the season, because in a league that begged for a spotlight, then flinched when it got one, Sophie Cunningham didn't blink. She stared it down and made the most of her moment.